All right, so welcome back. So now we're going to start doing post methods. We're going to start with the client side, and when we're on the client side, we're going to learn the jQuery way of doing things. So just like with gets, everything is really using that AJAX method, but post is a convenience method that sets the type to be post for us, which is nice. There is no post JSON method, but if there were, we would use it because we're going to do a post and then we're going to get JSON back. So the first thing we need to do is we need to kind of put in our basic skeleton code. So you can copy it from the link above if you wanted to do that, and go into your servertime.js. And you can find where I say rh.servertime.sendPost. Instead of putting it right in line like I did with the get, I chose to break it out. And the reason I chose to do that is because whenever I have an input box, I like to be able to hit enter and have that do the same thing as clicking on the button. So since there's kind of two paths to do it, I broke it out into its own function. And you can see here's this message up here. So we're just going to kind of paste in our skeleton post request. If you compare it to a GET request, you can see it's very, very similar, right? So the method name is different, but then there's the URL next. There's data that you might want to send to the server. So right now this would crash because I don't have a variable called data to send yet, but I'll work on that. And then there's a done method. The done method receives the response. Here we call the variable JSON. Here we call the variable data, and that's just because I copied this from jQuery, and it knew in get JSON that it was JSON, but here it didn't know what it was. It turns out that in our case it is JSON. So if I wanted to, I could totally just change this variable name to say JSON. That'll make some of my stuff not match the slides, but that'll be okay. And then here I'm just printing out the whole thing, which I forgot to show you in the get thing, but it did print it out before. And then we'll have to do something with the data. And then if you fail, you should probably print some type of message. And this forces you to think, in a real application, would I like to do something more than this? So this is not that bad, right? So the only thing we really have to do is we have to fill out data to send, and then we have to do something with the data. Let's go ahead and do it in order. Let's go ahead and get our data to send. So there are two input boxes, and what our goal is we're going to send these two fields to the server, and then whenever we get time, it's going to get printed something before it in the string and something after it in the string. So it's kind of silly, but I wanted to do something with the post, right? So it's going to send these two input fields to the server when you click this button or when you press enter. That's kind of the goal. So looking at the HTML, we can see that we've got two inputs, and they have the IDs message start, which I'm going to get on my clipboard, and message ending. So if we wanted to go write some JavaScript, so we could save it off to a variable, right? So we've got message start, which is equal to the jQuery go find me something with the ID message start dot val. Val is how you get the value from the input field. So there's message start. And then if we want message ending, we could look for that input box, and we should change the name to ending. And so at this point, we've just captured those two strings, whatever they were, which is kind of neat. And then in data to send, so this should be an object, so it's very much a dictionary. I'm going to choose to say start, and I'll say message start. And then I'm also going to pass ending, and I could have called it message ending. It wouldn't have mattered. I just wanted to match the slides, and message ending. So here I've prepared the data that I'm going to send to the server. So that's great. And so he's going to get these two things. It's going to be a post, which we haven't written yet, that gets these. And then what we're going to have him do is we're going to have him send us JSON back. He'll modify the database is really what a post is for, but he will send us something back. We could pass back just success if we wanted, but instead we're going to actually pass back a JSON message that's very similar to what we did below. And what we're going to do is we're going to just grab that message response output. So I just copied what we did here, and I put it up into here. Note that if you change the variable to JSON, then you can just copy paste that. If it still says data, which is fine, then make sure you say data here. That's the only requirement. So all right, we've kind of finished the client side of doing a post, but we can't really test it until we do the server side. So come back next time and we'll write the server side so we can see if this actually does anything. See you then. All right, bye.